Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Udyog Shaastra, brought to you by SMEVenture. This is Yogesh Bhosle, co-founder and CEO of SMEVenture and your host for the day. Today I am privileged to welcome Mr. Anant Singhania. He is the president of IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the year 2022 and 23. Mr. Singhania is also a CEO of JK Enterprises. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Today, let's deep dive into IMC for industry under Mr. Anant's leadership. So we have a couple of questions to be asked. So before I start the question and answer, sir, if you can little bit tell about we would like to know more about your journey from Raymond to IMC as a president.
Thank you so much, Yogesh ji. It's an absolute pleasure for me to speak to to the audience at SMEVentures. I really thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Let me tell you about myself. So I've been working in our in our JK organization. It's a 135-year-old organization since several decades. I started my work career in the Raymond Group, which is part of the JK organization, and I was involved with our engineering division, namely two verticals. One was JK Files and Tools, and the other one was Raymond Steel. In Raymond Steel, we became the only sole producer of high-end electrical steel, namely CRGO, where we had a tie-up with Allegheny Ludlam, a US-based company, for importing their technology. So I spearheaded that business for some years, after which we actually divested that business to one of the largest electrical manufacturers in the world called EBG India, which is a part of the ThyssenKrupp group. The second part, which I looked after, was the engineering business, which was Files and Tools, which became a very, very formidable business because we were a third of the world market share, as in we're the largest producer of files in the world. And I had the privilege to be on the European File Manufacturers Association as the only Indian company being there. And I was very happy to say that between 10 or 12 players, we were supplying material to almost 7 of them. So we were in a very commanding position that India has got to be. Thereafter, I moved into real estate and finance, and that's the business that I've been doing over the last 10, 15 years. It's been a very interesting section because, finance is something that is required by everybody. And as a company and with various verticals, we provide structured finance. In the real estate field also, we are into development of, housing, for the masses, and we have several projects where we are doing. Thereafter, I was probably one of the youngest or the youngest past president of Bombay Management Association, which I chaired for a year in 2005, 2006. I've been involved with various trade bodies, and I was heading the cutting tools panel of Engineering Export Promotion Council. I've been on various chambers of commerce, including FICCI, Indo-Italian Chamber of Commerce, and the likes. IMC is something very close to my heart, and I've been on the IMC managing committee since maybe about 10, 15 years, worked closely on various committees. So a natural progression was how I could do more for the chamber. So last year I was elected as the vice president of the chamber. The chamber is a 115-year-old chamber, one of the most prestigious chambers with a national footprint. Based in Mumbai, I'm currently broadcasting from our from our head office, which is at Churchgate. IMC owns the entire building at Churchgate. We have about 16 venues which we let out to our members. We have various events, conferences, workshops. We also have an entire dedicated floor for international arbitration. So it's called the IMC International Arbitration Center, IAC, where as a chamber, we put out the scenario where people, if they have any dispute, then they can come to us for alternate dispute resolution. Because as you know, India's ranking, in World Bank has come down from 120 to about 63 or 64. But one of the main areas where our ranking is poor is on dispute resolution. So the chamber over several years found that this is an area which is our niche area where we can facilitate quick resolve, because in the arbitration, there's a window of 12 to 15 months where any disputes which are referred to the arbitration, institutional arbitration, can be resolved across parties. And just to give you a bit of history, there were about 79 or 80 cases which went through the earlier avatar called IMC Court of Arbitration. And I'm happy to say none of them went for any further redressal, as in the award was accepted by both parties and well received. So the IMC, to talk a bit about the IMC is a very versatile organization. We have about 5,000 members across the SMEs, the MSMEs space. There are various manufacturers, there are importers, exporters, there are professionals, there are, whether it's the lawyers or the I-bankers or even the people from the legal fraternity. So we have a versatile group of people across various industries. Plus, we have, the benefit of 150 trade associations. Now, these are very important factor, very important cog in the wheel, because these are from various industries, whether it's plastic manufacturing, chemical manufacturing, the people from the printing industry, people from the Chartered Accountant Society, and the like. So between our membership and our associate members, we have a reach about 400,000 members on a conservative basis. So when we do our events, when we present notes, present papers to the government, we actually get feedback from the entire membership. Similarly, when we have events, we get participation from our extended membership base. So IMC is very active as a chamber, and we try to facilitate, problem solving, bring out the latest technologies in terms of what can be done, what needs to be done in various fields. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, of course. And that's very brief answers for my viewers here from your journey from entirely, and talking lots of things about IMC as well. So I was just curious because IMC is always about the theme they are looking at. So partnering for growth, we would like to know more about this theme which you have chosen for this chamber now.
Thank you. So as president IMC, I have the prerogative of choosing a theme. So I felt partnering for growth is the main area that I can deliver for our members. Because our members are looking for growth. We've had 2 years of pandemic, which has completely upset the apple cart, if I may say so. People have seen diminishing volumes, challenges. So as a chamber, we've always put out our member first, and in order for our members to do better, we have created the platform for them to grow. So we have various, events or various platforms under which we provide this. So one is that we provide for exporters, for example, we provide certificate of origin, which is a must need for the export community. We provide packing lists, we provide facilitation. So if exporters are looking for working with a particular country, we help them partner, we send out their inquiries to various associations. I also forgot to mention that we have 150 MOUs with various chambers of commerce across the world. So for example, just today we met with from a senior delegation from the Consul General's Office of Malaysia. So we have 2 MOUs in Malaysia. So when our members want to reach out to Malaysia, we reach out to our MOU partners and we do the hand-holding. So that way we can partner with them. So our idea is to basically facilitate trade and commerce with them. The second part is that several of our members, from time to time, there are new laws which need clarification. So we reach out to them, they reach out to us, and in turn we reach out to the people in the government and bring out their pain points and then work with them to solve the issues. A case in point, the exim industry, for example, gets something called the ECGC cover, which is part of the export credit guarantee scheme.
Yes.
And we as a chamber put it out to the government that these exporters, they get a benefit of ECGC cover. So it used to be around 50%. So 50% of their export is covered as part of the ECGC cover. However, these exporters were still getting charged as per their credit rating. So if they were BBB or BBB minus or a C, they were getting credit at a very high cost. So what we put it out is that why don't you provide them slightly better credit, as in they'll get it at a cheaper cost. Thereby, two things would happen. The cost of capital will come down. And second, even for the banks, there's something like a bank ratio in terms of what they're giving out credit to what kind of rating. So if their rating of their borrowers goes up, they in turn can lend more. So we put this out in terms of a representation. I'm happy to say that just a few weeks ago, the ECGC came up with a new scheme which says that 90% of the export will be covered. And these exporters would get credit at a cheaper cost. So I would say there's a direct impact of our representation that we've made to the concerned ministry. So that's an area where we can partner with. Similarly, we take delegations abroad. So last 2 years, of course, there was just one delegation because of COVID, but we plan to do it. So our members who want to reach out to various countries, we have decided with our membership where they want to go, and we take our membership out. So that's how we basically work with our membership to make it a win-win. So the chamber benefits from their feedback, and in turn, they benefit from that feedback in terms of some resolution to their problems.
Okay, great to know that from you. Sir, every association, or if you look at the MSME, any association, like have a complete plan of action to support an MSME. So support a MSME basically. So how do you plan to support MSME as an IMC president, with which MSME can get a boost to be a major part of Indian becoming a global power in this Amrit Kaal?
Thank you. So in terms of our MSME focus, we have, so the chamber has about 22 expert committees. And there's a committee called Industry and Trade Committee, which is focused on delivering value to this segment of MSME. Of course, there are so many other committees which also do it. For example, we have banking. Now, banking is a very integral part because, one of the big pain points is access to capital, and access to capital at a reasonable cost. So various committees of us work in tandem to provide value to our MSME members. So in terms of things we do, for example, we have programs on the new schemes of MSME, because there are so many schemes with the Udyog that come about, where we have technical sessions where we mention the schemes so that our members know what are the schemes, how they can benefit from it. The second is if they have problems on registration or they have problems in getting land. So we have dialogue with the concerned ministry. So for example, we had dialogues with MIDC, that these are the problems with MIDC. These are the members who have a problem. We have a joint meeting and we do it. We've also signed an MOU with the government of Maharashtra, which needs to be renewed, but we've had it. Again, working towards how we can reduce, the pain areas. So in COVID times also, there were a lot of issues about movement of goods. So when we got this feedback, we worked with the concerned department, and said that these are the areas, these industries should be allowed to function. They're part of essential. And thereby we added value to our members.
Okay, great. So that will definitely help your members also in terms of being associate with IMC, definitely. Sir, I just wanted to check because in the budget 2022, the government of India focusing more on economic growth and laid the foundation also to have like which is consist of industrial infrastructure development called like Gati Shakti also Gati Shakti National Plan, right? So which will definitely help MSME in terms of logistics and etc. So what are your views on the blueprint laid by the government materialization in the time-bound manner in order to create and Amrutkal for this MSME, for the MSME. Sorry.
So I think the initiative of government on Gati Shakti is a very welcome move because the infrastructure, sorry, the logistics cost as a part of sales is a very high number in India. So
True.
one may debate that because we are exporting slightly lower value product, the cost of the logistics cost as a percentage of sale will be higher. So the moment we go up the value chain, the value of the logistics cost will reduce. So if you compare India to Germany, the absolute cost of logistics in Germany versus the absolute cost of logistics in India is comparable. However, the value of goods being exported out of India is probably slightly lower in the value chain compared to goods being exported out of Germany. So as a percentage, India's export competitiveness as far as logistics cost is skewed towards because of the product mix.
True.
Having said that, the way India is progressing in terms of the value chain, I feel that this number, because of a better product mix, a higher value added product, will reduce, number one. This will happen in addition with the support of government in part of Gati Shakti. I believe there are 16 departments which are entwined. So to find where this cost is going up. So we as a chamber, we engage with various ministries. So one of the ministries we had the Union Minister for Shipping, Ports and Waterways at the chamber just 2 weeks ago. And with him, we had the chairman of JNPT, and we had the chairman of BPT, Bombay Port Trust, with us. So we said, okay, how can we reduce the cost of logistics? So we gave certain suggestions that this is the bottlenecks because we have the ability to really see the picture in terms of where the issues are. So we sensitize the government that this is an area where the cost is going up. Maybe the demurrages is in an area where better planning can happen. Today, for example, where a ship is because of GPS well in time. If that can be shared through the online portal, so the CHAs, the shipping industry, the EXIM industry knows when the goods are going to come to Mumbai port or come to various ports. Therefore, the planning can work better, backward working. Already we have electronic DL where a lot of the EXIM industry information is already known. But this fine tuning needs to be done along with the stakeholders so that better information will lead to better decisions and quicker action.
True. Mr. Anant, you have given an extraordinary explanation for the question because we were never expected like so much vast angles, different angles you will put it into this questions. Your view is really valuable. Viewers, see, Gati Shakti national plan is a very important for the economic MSME economic growth, and Mr. Anant was trying to put various angles to it, and basically it will help MSME only to grow in the future because of various you can say the various facilities which government of India is providing to us now. So, sir, see nowadays, if you look at the overall MSME is facing lots of challenges in the business. Like, so what are the major challenges in the business firms are facing today's in this scenario, and what are your tips to tackle to overcome from these challenges?
So I think today the industry is besieged with a couple of issues, which probably are not really in their hands. If I may answer that. So first and foremost is the inflation. Now, inflation is a combination of several factors. One of them is the political uncertainty, which is beyond anybody's hand. I mean, if Ukraine and Russia are at war,
Right.
there's very little that any player in India or anywhere in the world, barring these countries, can really do much about. But that has upset the entire equilibrium in the world market. 2 years of 2.5 years of COVID was something again beyond anybody's control. Yet we found 100 unicorns in that period. I mean,
Right.
found a huge amount of growth in the startup space. So even though there were adversity, we still found progress. So each company perhaps has to find their own niche to find where they can excel, because there are a lot of opportunities there. The tough companies survive, good companies survive in tough times, and some good companies don't survive in terms of the ability to grow, or they perish. So the question is, each company has to decide where it is. So one of the main factors is inflation. So I think government, by increasing the rates, the bank rates, is trying to stem that inflation. And I think that will stabilize. I'm also hoping that the war situation may find its natural end to it, which will definitely reduce the inflationary pressures. The second area is the shipping industry. The freight costs has gone through the roof. So whether it's freight, which is also inflationary, freight, and if you take the oil costs, these two areas are really impacting most businesses. Now, several businesses are able to pass on these costs to their customer. So today we are in a place of supply. Supply is more important. The demand is there, but there's not enough supply. So last year we had a lot of issues on chip shortages because of the semiconductor shortages around the world. So several industries, whether it's auto or if you take the entire IT systems, they were in severe shortages. So people bought whatever was available at any price, because of shortages. I believe now that's stabilizing as far as shortages are concerned. And the third aspect,
the raw material cost also will be one of the reasons for that, the challenging time.
So supply chain disruption has been an issue. If today a ship gets stuck in the Panama Canal, there's little that any one of us can do, but it disrupted entire world trade. Just being stuck, I don't remember the number of days, but it was stuck for a reasonable period of time. One ship gets stuck in one arterial Panama Canal, and not Panama, it was Suez, right? Sorry, Suez Canal. Suez Canal, and it completely upsets the entire equilibrium of the world trade. So the cost, the commodity prices cost has become an issue, but I believe the commodity prices have come down. So Q1 of this year, we saw good growth, but recently I'm told that there is a little bit of uncertainty, with the Ukraine, Russia thing. More recently, we had all this, border issues between Taiwan and China. What will be the impact of the semiconductor? Because very large percentage of semiconductor supplies comes from just one company in Taiwan. So that's an area of concern.
True. So the challenges which you have highlighted is basically post-COVID companies or the industry trying to pull it down, then probably the raw material, the taxes, and there are lots of factors which has been associated with these challenges. But I think your question, the answer is there is a will, there is a way, sort of the conclusion of it. Great. So, sir, I just wanted to ask you, what are your most current steps for IMC activities, and what are your future plans as a president of IMC and overall the organization?
So IMC is very proactive an organization. Like I said, we have a large membership base, and we have, our committees. So between our committees, we have several events, and I just mentioned we had an engagement with the shipping minister. A core team of IMC actually visited Delhi on a couple of occasions. We met with, several of the ministers, whether it was the finance minister, it was the law minister, Mr. Rijiju, or we met with Piyush Goyal, the commerce minister, or Nitin Gadkari. The way, which is road and transport minister, and several other ministers and, minister of states. So with each of them, we are trying to engage with them in terms of finding out, which are the areas that they want to work with. So two things which we like. So I mentioned about shipping. In 2 days, we have the MSME Minister, Narayan Raneji, coming here, flagging off a MSME Yatra. We're working with another organization as part of Partnering for Growth to initiate this so that the MSMEs can be tackled in terms of what are their needs. So the Yatra is getting flagged off from the IMC Chamber of Commerce on the 18th, for example. Then we have the dialogue with the law minister. So we'll have the law minister in here because they are very keen. I mean, across various ministries, we found that the issue of dealing with litigation, whether it is in shipping, whether it's in the law, which is across all industries, or whether it's in commerce, the issue of litigation is a big area. So as a chamber, as I mentioned earlier, we are very strong on the legal front. So we will provide this platform to our members, to the industry per se, to do it. Another area is that we are working with the Ministry of Earth Sciences. We are part of an initiative called, the International Coastal Cleanup Day. And we have committed ourselves with the chamber to work with the government towards 3 areas. One is helping to clean up the beaches. So the International Coastal Day is going to be celebrated on the 17th of September, which is the third. It's every year celebrated the third Saturday of September. And the government of India has come up with a very nationwide plan of cleaning the entire 7,500 kilometers of coastline, in a matter of 75 days. And IMC is very happy to initiative. And we are working closely with it on 3 areas. So one is the cleanliness drive, and we have our members. We have members from the youth, we have members from all our MSME members. We also have colleges and students who have agreed to be a part of this. So we'll be cleaning up the beaches. The government has planned 1,500 tons worth of single-use plastic and plastic to be cleaned across these beaches. And I'm happy to know that around 30 or 40 or 50 tons have already been already done across this campaign. So IMC is going to be doing the cleaning. We're already planning some awareness programs on how to reduce the incidence of this single-use plastic. Because what's happening is this plastic is going into the oceans and it's affecting the marine life.
Of course, yes.
I mean, people who consume marine food are getting impacted. The fish are coming with plastic or coming with contamination into it. There is layers and layers of plastic going into the sea. Yes. So it's something that one is to clean it when the sea gives it back to us. The second is to eliminate it going there to start with. So, bringing the awareness, because people don't realize that everything that we do, we are generating waste. A lot of things are getting recycled, but in the case of single-use plastic, it cannot be recycled. Yes. And therefore, elimination is the best way. Similarly, we are also working with government on the net zero impact. So India has agreed on net zero by 2070, which looks like a long way away. But unless we don't start today, that awareness and that movement on moving our systems into low carbon emission, we won't get there. So we are working again with the government to see how we can sensitize people, bring the awareness. For example, I'm based in Mumbai. In Mumbai, sea levels is a big main area of issue. I mean, we have monsoons. If there's high tide, part of the city is inundated. And that's just, last couple of years back on 26 July, there were parts which are inundated for 10 days, 15 days with 5 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet of water. Now, this is just a heavy monsoon. Imagine with climate change, with water levels going up, if the city will remain, it will just not recede because the water levels have gone beyond a point. We are having a lot of work happening, a lot of construction infrastructure happening along the coast. That in turn may lead to increasing water levels. So this awareness needs to be done. So as a chamber, we want to bring that out to connect with the government ministry, to work with the government. And government, Modi ji recently at the culmination of 75 days of independence, he gave 5 pledges. So we are fully committed. We want to work towards a developed India. All our initiatives are there. We want to partner with all the stakeholders to develop India, whether it is connect with the agriculturist, whether it is connect with the MSME who requires finance or whether it's dispute resolution, or for that matter, the youth which have great ideas, and they just need a platform to work. So that's something we're doing. We're also doing a lot of industrial. We planned a series of industrial visits where we'll take our members and meet some of our member companies so they can understand what's happening. So I'm in, but I've not had a auto factory. I may be supplying to auto, I may be able to attend. But if 50 members who are in auto can actually visit an auto factory and see it and understand what are the challenges, the connect is different. And there will be find areas where they can work with it. So that's how we are working with trying to solve issues.
Great. Remarkable journey and remarkable work which you people are doing with IMC here. Sir, last but not the least, the question will be the same, your message to our viewers.
So I would, sorry, I have to do this, but I would like to tell your members that please join IMC, be a part of it. You can attend our events, be a part of it, because I can definitely give you value that you will see with the association. And I want to also just add that this journey that we've begun on partnering for growth is, maybe I'm the president that's speaking to you, but behind me we have a complete team of people working with it. We have a very strong secretariat headed by Ajit Magulkar. He's the Director General, and then we have two very able Deputy Director General, Sanjay Bhai Mehta and Sheetal Kalro. Between these three, and I have a very active Vice President, Samir Somaiya, who's just taken over as Vice President when I took over as President. So between our core team, and all our expert committee chairs, we really are aiming to deliver value to our stakeholders, not only our existing members, but potential members, and to the MSME sector per se, the entire ecosystem. We would love to work closely with them to find, to find areas where they can grow, where they can prosper, and together we can partner for growth. So, thank you.
Great. So this is it. We are glad, Mr. Anant, that you shared your precious time with us for some great conversation. We are thankful to you. Best wishes for your journey with IMC. Before we leave, you can watch this interview on every social media site on SMEVenture. Please do like, share, and subscribe SMEVenture for more updates. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate Mr. Yogesh and SMEVenture for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.